You are listening to the Wild Man Podcast.
Thank you for choosing the Wild Man Podcast. Today, our guest is, if you care to introduce yourself and what band you are in.
Yes, my name is Andrea and I do vocals in the band Coma Witch.
Okay, so my first question I got to ask, how did the name come to be?
So I think this was Caleb, our bass player. He's the one that has like sort of the big ideas for the band in terms of like artwork, a lot of the song titles, and the band name is his idea, and it comes from an Acacia Strain album. And I'm not like the biggest Acacia Strain fan, but he really likes them, and we thought the name was really cool, so it kind of stuck.
Okay. I had to ask because I was like, I feel like it has to be related to the Acacia strain somehow.
Definitely a big inspiration.
So my next question for you is, what are some of the like vocalists you look up to personally that like made your style, like you want to imitate their style but make it your own?
Yeah, so Mitch Lucker, I think, is the biggest one in the deathcore world. I remember hearing The Cleansing when I was in like eighth grade or freshman year of high school, and I love, how heavy it was, but specifically like his vocal patterns and how aggressive it sounded, and his highs were like a big inspiration. And then the second one would probably be Daryl Palumbo from Glassjaw, even though he does like a different sort of scream, like he has a lot of like insane, like overwritten, like really busy vocal parts that sound really angry that I really like. So I think those two are like the biggest ones for me.
Okay, those are definitely like top tier vocalists. Like Mitch was way ahead of his time. I feel like if he was around right now, a lot of the bands would have been like this. We can't even get past Suicide Silence.
Yeah, he's the best and so catchy as well. Like the hooks he wrote.
Oh yeah. For like, I know you guys only have like one solid album out. So when you write lyrics, how do you like? Do you take stuff from personal life, or do you use like other outsourced materials like movies, stuff like that? Or how do you come up with your writing material?
Yeah, so I think, well, we all kind of have a hand in the lyrics. I usually do like a first pass and try to write, as much as I can, and then we kind of go in and change stuff if somebody has a better idea or a better concept, we go with that. But I think personally, I just try to do it like very stream of consciousness. Like I think of a vague idea or like an image, and then I try to keep to that and then like stretch it out to like include a bunch of like absurd like metaphors that don't really make sense but are just funny to me, or like they depict a story in my head. Or yeah, I'll take from personal like frustrations or things I'm feeling, but also just like images like from movies, anything at all. I don't think there's any rules, at least for that album.
Okay, I know you guys are working on new material. How is that going?
Oh yeah, it's going really well. We have a ton of stuff in the works, some of which was written like either well before the album even came out, that we were just sort of working on. So it's going well. We really love the album, but we're excited to have taken some liberties artistically and gone in some different directions while also keeping what we really like about the album as well. So it's going well. We don't have like a any release dates or anything like that, but we're getting closer for sure.
Oh yeah, you guys are definitely in the same era of like the new age of deathcore, like the new revival bands. Like you guys are killing it. Like I put you guys in the same spectrum as Psycho Frame, Reverent, like those guys, and you guys are like what makes deathcore great again. And that sounds terrible out loud. I was like, oh shit, that's
Well, thank you for yeah, no, that's yeah. I mean, those are two really amazing bands. Psycho Frame was a big influence. Also from like a production side, we just love how we think that's like the modern template for deathcore that we try to keep to.
oh yeah, those boys. It's crazy to see how big they've gotten in a short amount of time too.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
they're great.
I've seen them open for Dying Fetus, and that was crazy because I was like, this is all death metal with a deathcore band opening, I'm really confused.
Yeah, and I think I think they're a lot more than just deathcore. I think they're just, in my opinion, like the template for any sort of modern brutal music. And I think they're pushing the genre forward in a really interesting way.
Oh yeah. Are you guys working with any like guest features on this new album? Can you say or no?
Uh, yes, a little bit of an unexpected one. I don't want to say too much yet, but once it comes out, I think it'll be it'll be sick is all I can say. It'll be a little bit unexpected, but really sick.
Heck yeah. So where are you guys based out of, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, we're out of the Boston area. All of us, yeah.
Okay, that definitely makes sense for the Acacia Strain fan to
Yeah,
because I
exactly.
think Vincent's originally from Boston, like the Mass area.
I think so, yeah.
So, like, do you guys have any dream lineups you would love to like if you went on tour? Is there any dream lineups you would want to take a part of?
Yeah. Well, yeah, in the deathcore world, definitely Psycho Frame for sure. Psycho Frame, some of the more legacy ones, Chelsea Grin, Suicide Silence, Carnifex, um, as Blood Runs Black. I think that would be really cool. And then of the newer bands like Reverend for sure, and a buddy that does vocals in our band, Chris. He's in the Hate Campaign, and I really like their band. Caleb's also in that band, and I think that if we played a show together, it'd be sick.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to see you guys come to the Midwest. I feel like you guys would do so well on tour.
Yeah, we're talking about setting up the live situation. I think we're probably going to be ready to do that most likely uh, early fall.
Like yeah, like that would be definitely like. Are you guys familiar with I Saw God?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you guys need to link up and do a tour together.
Yeah. I'm sure it will. They're super fucking heavy. Yeah, that would be insane. We will. We've wanted to play live for so long. We kind of went in like the more like, I think a lot of bands they put out like a single or an EP and then they just start playing live. But I think for us, we're kind of doing things in a little bit of a reverse order, I guess. Like we really want to have like a really stable and sick and large discography, which I guess by the end of the summer when more stuff comes out, we'll be there and then just have a shit ton of songs to play live. But once we do have that, I think it's going to be really, really sick, and there'll be a lot of different songs to pick from.
Oh yeah, like I know definitely like the East Coast has like a different breed of like musicians. I feel right now, like back in like when you said like Suicide Silence, the West Coast owned the deathcore scene.
Yeah,
Now it's the East Coast,
I
and
think
it's
so. I think so. I mean, I haven't toured in California. Caleb, our bass player, he's toured with the Hate Campaign in California a bunch, and it really seems like deathcore still at its is still bigger over there than over here. But I think something that I really like about East Coast music is that there's so much like amazing black metal and like grindcore and hardcore and a lot of like super like artsy experimental music. So I think like we take the energy of like a lot of those California based deathcore bands, but then sprinkle in some of these more like like Converge, the East Coast, more kind of that energy and the dissonance. Um,
oh yeah, for sure. Like Nine Dead, those guys are killing it right now. They I love them to death. They get the like biggest support from like Don from like the Cadaver.
yeah,
And I feel like I sent Don your guys' stuff today. I was like, you should take these guys on tour next.
that would be amazing. They're also like a huge influence. I wish I could make all the noises that he can make, but I'm getting there.
It does take some time. Like I practiced vocals for a little bit. Like it took me a while because like with any good vocals, you don't want to blow your vocal cords at all.
Right.
And I was practicing for a while, and the way I started doing it is I would listen to like Don, and when he would do it, I would try to mimic it, and like All I could say is the best way to do it is like act like you're a frog and just have
Hmm.
that gurgle.
Yeah. I sometimes find that if I because I stick to highs primarily, and I sometimes find it's really frustrating that if I start switching over to other styles, I like my highs get worse. It's like a little bit of like a trade-off for some reason. I think it's because I use different parts of my, my throat and like different mouth shapes. My goal is to get really good at all of them. But right now, like, I want to get my highs to the point where, they're really consistent and great live. And then I'll probably start experimenting with other stuff as well.
Oh yeah, like dude, you're killing it. I tell everybody at work, there's like I have like a playlist that I listen to every day at work, and like you guys at least come up at least a few times because playlists are always on shuffle.
Right.
And I
Thank yeah.
told my coworker you guys' stuff, and he was all like this. I don't know what the dude's saying.
Yeah. There's a lot of fast stuff. Well, because the music is we wrote the music instrumentally first, and then it's like what do you do over it? And then if you go too slow or like, you do very long phrases, it works sometimes, but like sometimes you really want it to match how intense it is, and that's when I do a lot of like the spit fiery sort of stuff. Um, I've gotten pretty good at that. Yeah, I think I can go. I mean, I can't. I'm not like the Arcspire guy, but I can. I really do like that sort of stuff, like going as fast as I can.
For sure, for sure. When did you start doing vocals, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. So vocals for me are like I've always done them, but I was always more of a guitar player. Um, so I started playing guitar when I was like 11 or 12. And then I think vocals came a little bit later. Like I always sang, to myself and, played acoustic and stuff like that. And then like in like high school bands when we'd be jamming and stuff, I'd be, screaming along. But um for the album, I actually learned how to do the highs, I guess, kind of probably around like 2 years ago, but then got a lot better at it like a year ago. Um, so yeah, because we had somebody else on vocals first, so then they left the band, so then I had to kind of step up and do it, which I guess I'd always been doing it kind of in secret, but then I guess I was like, all right, I'll do it.
For sure. That's always like good to see like your vocals always progressing than decreasing.
Yeah.
Like I for a while there I was living with a guy who's in a band and I always gave him crap because he would do he's in a band but he used to do vocal covers of like MySpace songs. And like I forgot how like high and low he can go, and I was just laying there in bed. It was 7 o'clock in the morning, and all I hear is. And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a ridiculous sound. Yeah, I mean, I think I'd always been doing it, but I never really like thought about it too much. I would just kind of, mimic different vocalists and then, I guess practicing it more, just got better at it. Yeah.
So, what are like some advice could you give someone if they wanted to take on vocals or take on being in a band fully? What would some of the advice you would give someone?
Yeah. Well, for vocals, um, I would say just, for me, it was the car. Like if you're driving around and you put on some Suicide Silence, like you're going to be so I think like the passion of the music and how aggressive it is just going to drive you to just force yourself to make that sound. I would say like not strain yourself. I mean, you can make the sound without like using every single part of your body. You don't want to blow out your voice. Just learn how to do like a fry scream, like a regular fry scream, and then from there just experiment with different mouth shapes with like using your diaphragm differently, and you'll kind of just find your own voice doing that. Um, as far as being in a band, I'd say just focus on your songs mostly because at the end of the day, like your songs are, it's pretty much like we're not like a huge band. It's like the songs are really meaningful for us, and that's, it's pretty much all we've got. And it keeps you like honest with your like songwriting, and it keeps you creative. Once you start thinking about too many different things, like how popular you are or how popular you want to be, like I think some of the artistic integrity gets compromised a little bit. So just really look at your songs, and if you're not really excited about them when you're listening to them, or like you can't imagine yourself playing them live, then you probably need to workshop them a little bit more and just take your time writing the best stuff you can instead of just like writing something that's a little half-assed and then just going out and playing it live. At least that's my opinion. But
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, dude, like I said, you guys are killing it. Like I'm like it's cool seeing like younger guys take part. Like it seems like when we I don't how old are you?
I just turned 25 a few months ago.
Oh, you make me feel old. Holy shit. Like it's cool to see like a lot of the kids nowadays, I feel like are finding like Mitch, the old CJ McMahon era of dire, like a lot of the guys that didn't get their flowers back then. And like now you see kids looking up to like Mitch Lucker. Like I have a little brother that's 16 and well 17. Jesus, he's making me feel old. And he's always like this, man. Like he always like I wish I could have saw Mitch before he passed. I was like, I didn't even get to see Mitch before he passed.
Yeah, I was like 11 or 10 or 11 when he passed, so I was a little too young, but yeah, I mean, I think those vocalists they're my favorite. I mean, I think like, deathcore nowadays a lot about like vocal gymnastics and just making the craziest sounds ever, but I think they were still making like crazy sounds, but they were, I don't know, it just seemed like they had this attitude to the lyrics and to the delivery that I think I'm just really drawn to. There's like a rawness to it.
Oh yeah, like back then there was no like you said vocal Olympics. There was no one trying to like the most you seen like vocally wise is like every band was trying not to compete. They were competing with each other, but in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And like now you see like Will Ramos over here sounding like he's killing an animal when he screams.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is, I mean, I love that stuff too. I think like you can do both. Like, I think you can have the attitude, of those OG sort of guys. And what I really like about them is like, honestly, even more than the timbre of their voice, like the rhythms, like the vocal rhythms that they would cut, they're just so memorable and catchy. And that's what I was really drawn to. And then, when it slows down to a breakdown, you can do some crazy shit, you can kind of do it all. But I think now it's like it can sometimes tend to be a little like one note, and it's just like, okay, that's like a crazy sound, but I want to hear like a really cool like vocal pattern or, fast run or something like that.
Oh yeah, like I love David from Signs of the Swarm. His vocals, every time I see them live, it's just so nasty.
Yeah, he's sick.
Like I would say out of the new wave, besides Psycho Frame and like a bunch of the revival bands, like Signs of the Swarm is at its highest right now.
Yeah, I agree. I gotta check out more of their stuff. Yeah, sometimes I feel like it's moving faster than I can keep up with, and there's just so many new bands, and you know, but I gotta definitely check out more new stuff because I know
Oh
that
yeah,
there's a lot of good stuff out there.
me and my friends always talk about like how there should be a tour, like a record company should sponsor, and this call it the revival era, and like have all revival, like instead of Summer Slaughter, it'll be like a bunch of the revival bands, and they just pay for everybody to go on tour.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I mean, I think it could happen. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened.
Yeah, because like I feel like it would have to be like I said, it had to be like Psycho Frame and Nine Dead would be have to be the like co-headliners.
I think so. Yeah,
Then you guys, Reverent, Peacemaker, Mauled. Mauled is absolutely insane, and they're blowing up right now. I've only seen them once.
yeah, they're I've listened to them. They're super heavy. Like yeah. I feel like I don't know how to write in that way sometimes. Just like super, just balls to the walls all the time. That's something I'm working on because like sometimes I find like writing wise, like I want to make it super brutal, but I end up going in these like weird directions or like it's like so many blast beats. I love how those bands can just keep it so heavy the entire time. It's really sick.
Have you seen Mauled yet?
No, no. I think we've all just been like cooped for like 3 years, pretty much just cooped up writing this stuff and writing more stuff. I got to get out there and watch all those bands and mosh. I'm looking forward to doing that.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, when you see Mauled, like I seen them at a festival I worked, and I didn't know who they were at that time because for a while there, I didn't have I felt like deathcore was like at its lowest for me because like I was trying to get into it, but like I was like the revival bands are doing it for me, but I was getting tired of the mainstream deathcore bands. And I was just like this, and it seemed like every tour was the same tour, just different change of lineup. And I saw Mauled and the vocalist, I forget his name all the time. And it freaked me out. But he was like this, everybody get close. I want to take a group picture. And I was like, oh, this is cool. He's getting the fans involved. And he got them real close and he had his phone out like sideways and he's like psyched, threw his phone up in there, screamed in the mic, grabbed his phone, put it in his pocket and screamed in everybody's face.
Yeah, I love that. That's yeah. I mean, I think the revival bands. I think they're in a weird way they're taking from the past, but they're pushing stuff forward. I also feel like mainstream deathcore kind of hit a wall, and I think sometimes you got to go and take from the past in order to make it new again.
Oh yeah, like I definitely like I want to do a band eventually, and I respect every band from the revival era. And my favorite influence is Vincent from the Acacia String and Travis Ryan from Cattle and Don from Waking the Cadaver. And like I try to mix all three of those vocals, which I do not highly recommend doing it at the same time because that hurts like a bitch.
Sounds painful, yeah.
And like I tell everybody, like if I could start a band like that, I feel like that would be a hybrid band that everybody would want.
Yeah, do it. I want to see what I want to hear it. Sounds like a sick combination of stuff.
And I tell everybody I listen to like hardcore, deathcore, grindcore, and all that, and I support everybody equally. And it's just crazy how like metal is finally getting the notice it deserves. Like for God's sake, we saw Knock Loose play on Jimmy Kimmel. I never thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I think that's good for music. Um, I'm not like the biggest Knocked Loose fan in the world, but just like I think it's so sick that music that heavy got on a talk show like that. I think that's good for the genre, and I think it's good for everyone that's in a band, I think.
Oh yeah, like for sure. Like if it wasn't for like a lot of the mainstream like people like the regular 9 to 5 people always wearing the band t-shirt, always supporting it. Like I think Jason from Peeling Flesh always told me when you wear your a band t-shirt, you're wearing a flag that you support.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody like every band shirt I own, I support the band one way or another. I might not listen to them as much as I used to, but I still support them.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I would definitely agree with you with As Blood Runs Black. They need to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, they're sick. The first album is one of my favorites.
And I think that's the only I could be wrong, but I think that's the only album on Spotify of theirs.
I think so. Yeah. I have I know that I've listened to other stuff. I don't know. I could be wrong. I really just like that that one album. It's every single song is a banger and a huge influence.
Like the OG Chelsea Grin, like my favorite freaking one-liner out of that, it's boner time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The self-titled, yeah. Yeah, that was one of my favorites when I was in high school. It was so over the top, and yeah, the vocals were amazing. Uh,
And
and the first actual album too was amazing. Yeah, yeah.
like
I love their early stuff, especially.
it's cool seeing like a lot of the guys who back then like gave up the dream for a while, then came back. Like Alex Cooler is in a band now, like
Yeah,
Pablo, and
yeah,
like I remember being 19 in a bar seeing Chelsea Grin play, and it was with Alex, Pablo, like the original lineup. And I did shots with Pablo at 19.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice.
And I remember coming like going through my pictures on my phone, and I shared that picture, and I was like, Pablo won't even remember this probably because I'm so that was maybe I shared it 2 years ago, so I was only 29. And I was like, he probably won't say anything. And Pablo was like, man, that's crazy. I remember that day. I was like, what the hell?
But yeah, that's awesome.
But like, it's cool seeing what you're doing, bro. Keep up your dream, dude. Like, don't give up. Like, if you ever play in the Midwest and need a place to crash or a place to even play, there's venues around here. We would love to have you guys out here. Hit up Big Ham Productions. That guy is definitely booking everything he can right now. So there could be a chance you guys could play out here where I'm from. I'm from Davenport, Iowa.
Okay. Definitely. Well, thank you. Yeah. Well, I mean, we when we start playing live, we definitely want to hit it hard and go everywhere. So we'll definitely keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, because I'm in like where I am in the Iowa, so you would get four cities in one. I'm in the Quad Cities, so I have Davenport, Bettendorf, Moline, and Rock Island.
Okay. Dope. Yeah. Well then, yeah, we'll need to stay in contact, and once we start playing, we'll definitely see what we can do up there.
Oh yeah, and if you need a band to listen to, I'm definitely gonna be plugging two bands that I think definitely deserve it. If you like death metal, look up 12 Gauge Autopsy. Those boys are killing it right now. And if since you like deathcore, there's a band called Atigment. The vocalist is my old roommate. I'm glad he's in a band for once because like for a while there he kept telling us no.
Yeah. No, I gotta check them out. After this, you'll have to text me them, and I'll definitely check them out.
For sure, for sure. And if you have any shout outs, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, everyone in my band, I think I just want to say how like creative everyone is and how talented everyone is. Our guitar player Stefan, he's also the person that mixes everything. So amazing. We actually, we have an amazing mix right now. Whatever's coming next, and they're all killing it. Alice, Caleb, Chris, and then Zach and Rob as well. Zach will be playing guitar for us live, and Rob will be playing drums. So just want to shout them out, and then I'm going to shout out the Hate Campaign. Again, I've mentioned them before, but they're a really amazing band, and they're we're super tight with them, and they're super heavy. And go check out their live shows because they're super 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 brutal. And then check out Caleb's other band, Knives. They're like more metalcore, but super sick. And yeah, just support the scene in general. We're all trying really hard to sort of elevate deathcore, and all the revival bands. Just the more we listen to them and the more we give them the support, the more longevity deathcore has and metal overall. So yeah,
All right. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your
yeah,
night, sir.
yeah. No, you as well. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right. And like I haven't done a sign off in so long, so Wild Man signing out.
All right, peace.
Peace.